Welcome to Matchday Live. Chelsea leave it late, but they get it done. 1-0 winners at Selhurst Park. Hakim Ziyech with the winner. Sam, deep breath. Our hashtag is late winner as well, by the way. It had to be, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. That was a magical moment, and I think it's good. It's good that Ziyech got the winner because he was the stand-up performer. I think out of all of our attackers, he kept on trying. He's obviously scored the goal that was eventually offside. But yeah, I think it was a brilliant ball from Alonso. I like the fact that Tuchel made all those changes at that time. I think that kind of maybe threw off Palace a little bit as well. We looked much better when we made those changes. Just a few different things. Alonso putting in balls. Ziyech was quality as well. Kovacic added a bit more energy in the midfield. So yeah, I'm just happy you got the win.
It was one of those games where it felt it was a 0-0. It felt it had everything of a 0-0, didn't it?
You know what? We've had so many of those games this season where it's a draw and it ends a draw, or we've been 1-0 up and it 1-1. We've drawn so many games, it felt like it was going to be a bore draw. And defensively, I thought we defended pretty well. Like, they had a couple of chances, Zaha and Elise in the first half. Like, they both just missed the post. But it felt like, it was going to be a 0-0. And fair play, Tuchel made the change. Great ball by Alonso. Hakim Ziyech, as you said, probably the best attacking player. Really, really good finish, tidy. Like, some players could sky that over the bar, but not Ziyech. He's in a really good hot patch at the moment. Really good, especially in the league, bit of form.
Completely right. And like Zach's already said there, Sam, defensively, Chelsea looked brilliant, well set up, well thought out, whether it be a 4 at the back or a 5. When you've got that ability in the back line, you know that if you get an opportunity to take a chance at the other end, one goal's probably going to be enough because, I mean, we restricted Palace to no shots on target today, no shots on goal. Oh. But Matt said it in commentary really, really excellently. It felt like the game could have gone 2 or 3 hours and there wouldn't have been a goal. It needed that one moment of magic, and thankfully we've got a magician to do that. Yeah,
I think our defence did really well. I think Tuchel will be proud of the defence. The fact that we're playing, like we said before, we're playing fullbacks that don't naturally play there, even though Christensen was doing a lot to make those overlapping runs. He put in a good ball as well for Havertz.
Zaha too.
Yeah, dealt with Zaha as well. Elise on the other side, Sarr did well, and then when Alonso came on, he covered there well. The last few moments, I think Alonso really got stuck in when it got a bit nervy as well. So I think the defence did really well, but like we said, that in the final third, we just wasn't clicking as much as we wanted to. We saw a few glimpses from Pulisic, from Havertz, from Ziyech especially, but I think it just wasn't as fluid as we wanted it to be. I think that's a credit to Crystal Palace as well, because they defended really well. Like someone tweeted, it's like the Roy Hodgson Palace. But yeah, it's good to get a win like that when you know a team was kind of playing for the draw.
I think massively as well. You see the reaction in the Chelsea players when we scored the goal. I mean, Rudiger almost jumped over the whole group of them when he was celebrating on top of everyone. But on the flip side, you know, the way that Palace reacted at full time was like deathly silence almost around the ground, because it's one of those games where the team that gets the late winner, you take so much from it, and the team that doesn't, the team that works so hard, like Crystal Palace, and don't get anything from it, there's such a contrast between the two, isn't there? And those small margins, Chelsea then take on into the next couple of weeks, and that's going to be a massive bonus.
Yeah, in those games when you're in Palace's shoes and you're working so hard defensively, and you may have missed 1 or 2 chances like they did, it hurts even more to put in all of that effort from the midfielders, from the keepers especially 2 of them, and the defenders, to then concede the last kind of like dying embers of the game. Yeah, it's tough. But you're right, from a Chelsea point of view, you take that, you know that it wasn't necessarily a good day at the office, that it can be improved, it can get much better. And that Thomas Tuchel will have things to improve on and talk about. But you did the job. You got the 3 points. At the end of the day, we look back on this in a year's time and we saw Crystal Palace win to Chelsea 1-0 away from home, and that's really it. And sometimes that in football you can never play amazingly in football all the time, and there are games this season where we haven't managed to get the win and get the 3 points, and so to get that today, over the moon.
That mental obstacle as well, Sam, because like Zach's already mentioned, you know, we've been in this situation a number of times this season where it feels like, look, the Wolves game, for example, where, again, that felt like it could go on a long time, 0-0. It's been games where we've drawn and we've been pegged back or whatever. To be in that position again today, but then to get something from it, to get those 3 points for that final last-minute push to get the goal, mentally, that's such a bonus, because the next time we're in this situation, we're not then thinking of Wolves 0-0. We're not then thinking of games that we've dropped points. We're thinking of, yeah, we were like this at Palace, and then we went and got the late winner.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell with the last few games that we had, especially the Club World Cup, the fact that we scored in the final, then they scored a penalty, and then we had to persevere for the rest of the game. Obviously, Havertz scored the winning penalty. Similar to today, we scored a goal. It was disallowed, but you saw Ziyech, as soon as the referee blew the whistle, said to everyone, let's go again. Like, that's the mentality that you want, and especially this week, we've got 2 important games moving forward. So that's the type of mentality you want to know, like you want to see in the team, because you know in these games, you're not always going to get everything going your way, but it's the mentality that sometimes wins you these games.
Absolutely right. And on Hakim Ziyech, I mean, he's been, like you've already mentioned, he's been sensational so far recently. He's been so good. To be in the form that he's in at the moment, when 2 months ago we're talking about 5 or 6 players rotating, you'd argue now he's the first. He's at the front of that queue the way he's playing.
He's probably played himself into the next 2 games easily with that. Like he before the Club World Cup, and to be fair, at the Club World Cup, he was in a really good hot streak. He had that game against Spurs that was fantastic in the last league game, and just today to get that like last-minute winner, he's becoming very much like a clutch player for us in the moments when we need him most. And so yeah, probably against Lille in the Champions League and against Liverpool, I'd be saying he's probably in the attacking sense one of the first names on the team sheet. Hopefully Mason Mount will also be back as well for the Liverpool game at least, and we'll see kind of what happens from there. But yeah, I think it was an interesting one, but Hakim Ziyech stepped up again.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, he's obviously the match winner for us today. A lot of social media reaction, rightly so. Elizabeth, obviously regular contributor to the show. We usually never get late winners. It's a great point. It's a very good point. It's nice to be the team, isn't it? That Alonso cross,
it really was.
That was quality.
Because it also took out their left-back, Mitchell. Like, Mitchell had a great... We said it as well. He had a great game this season. He's been really good for them. And he's got a really good future, I think, for in the Premier League, and who knows, maybe in the England team one day. But that ball was perfect, where it's one of those ones, and obviously Lukaku is such a dangerous guy in the box. He goes forward to try and help, I think, Anderson deal with him, and obviously misjudges it, and it goes to Ziyech. So it's the perfect ball from Alonso.
On Alonso, you know, whenever you play a back 4, Marcos Alonso gives you so much going forward. When you play a back 5, you see the best of him because he's got that attacking impetus, and I think we've all seen that over the years, whether it be attacking the back post himself, or like Zach said there, and like we've seen, delivering that cross to the back of the sort of later areas in the box. It's not only a brilliant cross, but it's also the fact that perhaps we've not been direct enough. You know, there's not been enough of that. There've not been enough chances. There was a Ziyech ball 10-15 minutes before that towards the back post.
Yeah.
And then the Alonso chance. But when you've got someone that's got that quality from wide areas, to utilise that from the bench is such a positive.
Yeah, 100%. Like we said at half-time, we've got players on the bench that could cause Palace a few problems, and Alonso is one of those players. He's a specialist at what he does. Going forward from that wing-back position, he knows the areas to put the ball in, he knows when to strike it, he knows when to pull it back, and I think that's what you needed in that scenario in the game, because it did look like it was just edging towards a 0-0, and no one would have really had anything to say against that because of the way the game was going. So it was nice the fact that Tuchel trusted him in that situation, and he delivered.
Absolutely right. Some more reaction to the Chelsea winner then. This from Simon Johnson. Not impressive from Chelsea, but a rare game which they've nicked it at the end. Important result as they take another mini break from Premier League football. It's taken a while for Ziyech, but Ziyech is proving his worth. Yeah, he's been fantastic recently. And this next tweet as well. Bit of a chancer.
Who's that gorgeous-looking fella there? Wow.
Yeah. It's been...
I love them.
Do love them, though.
I do love them. It's been a busy 18 months or so, isn't it? It's been a busy 18 months or so.
It's honestly, I love Chelsea so much, but supporting them is like this, more than any club in the world, I think. So many positives, and they just put you through the ringer to then have the positive as well at the end. It really is. It's beautiful. God.
And especially because when the Ziyech first goal went in, Sam, we were quite composed because it felt offside, didn't it? It felt like it was going to be one of those. Zach, on the other hand, we had to bring him down from the roof, jumping up and down all over the place.
I want to celebrate.
Of course,
it's a goal.
mate. Of course. And you deserve the moment at the end. But that's what it is. It's now part of that, isn't it? It is, like Zach said, it's up and down. But a late winner in a game that you feel you should win, it feels a little bit like we've got out of jail. But it's not something. I don't think it's something we've not deserved, because as you've seen the stats, you know, if one team's going to get it, we were deserving of that. A draw probably would have been a fair result. But at the same time, if
fair.
one team's going to go and get it, exactly, football's not fair. And if one team's going to go and get it, we were deserving of the two.
Yeah, and we've had games this season where we've deserved to win and teams have scored in the last minute and we're just gutted. And
Brighton.
that feeling of Everton as well, that feeling as well of dropping points, it's just not nice. So it's similar to the Leeds game when we scored in the last minute penalty. It's like, I feel like last minute winners just feel a bit like, because you were so close to your weekend just being ruined.
Yeah.
And then it's not anymore, and you can go home, walk down Fulham Road, and just be happy.
None of your mates are texting you.
Yeah, exactly. The bad agendas.
It's like
aren't
fantasy
there.
Premier League when you get your player and he's got bonus points.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like, doesn't it? It feels like you've got a little boost, a little bit
yeah.
extra. Yeah, no, it does feel like that very much. And we've got some more reaction to this as well. This is our knee-jerk reaction to today's game. Chelsea leave it late, absolutely.
Indeed.
But like you just said,
Better late than never.
It feels better, doesn't it? It does feels different. The Wizard of London, Ziyech, yes, a nice
He
one.
really is stepping into a really good, important player for Chelsea at the moment.
Absolutely right, the Moroccan Wizard. He's been sensational recently, and I think with Hakim Ziyech as well, he's one of those players that if you watch highlights of, like his show reel is up there with the best players ever. Like his left foot is he's magic. But that goal against Spurs, even the goal today, the technique on it. It was Mason Mount-esque in terms of the goal that he scored at West Ham and the way that he's watched it all the way. He's got to keep his knee over it. That late on in the game, we've seen so many players just swipe at a chance like that, but he doesn't. He's got that composure and that experience. And like that tweet said, he's proving not only is he one of the best players at the club, but his technical ability and his experience as well is proved invaluable.
Yeah, he's becoming a really important player for Chelsea over the past month or so now. Since really, I guess 2022. I remember during pre-season we watched him and we were like, "He looks elite. He looks so good." And then he had injuries, and he's always had a few knockbacks every now and again. But he's starting to get into a consistent run of form where he's able to play a lot of minutes down that right side. And whether we're in a 4-1-4-1 where he can really touch the touch line, or whether we're playing formation like this where he's a bit more central. You're really starting to see a Hakim Ziyech, and he's unfortunate today probably to not get an assist. Like his left foot sometimes when he cuts in and plays the most perfect ball in between the goalkeeper where the goalkeeper can't really come out to get it, and in between the defender where it's too far for him to get. I think Hakim Ziyech at the moment is really stepping up, and it's really good to see.
He does feel one of those players as well, Sam, that you get the best out of him when you play a forward at the back because he's allowed a little bit more freedom, and there's that space as well, and like we've seen there, both his near assist today where he's cut inside and it's that ball towards the back post, but it's a trademark Hakim Ziyech where he steps inside and he looks for that far post to whip it in. Those spaces perhaps don't appear if you're playing a right wing back because maybe he's 5 or 10 yards further infield and then all of a sudden you've not got the angle to find it. So the fact that we are playing a forward back suits him in that system, but I suppose that's the quandary for Thomas Tuchel is if we do eventually go back to that and Reece is a right wing back, how do you get the best out of Ziyech and Reece?
And it's going to be, I feel like it'll be difficult, but at the same time, he's the type of player that just needs to be confident, and he's playing with a confidence now that whatever position he's getting in, we saw the goal that he scored against Spurs. He was not necessarily as wide as we'd expect he was today, for example. So I think when he plays with confidence, we saw him today just taking on players, driving in and out, and it's just like you love to see Ziyech play with freedom because when he does, that's when he gets those moments of magic, and you're just like, wow. And also when he celebrates, it's like, this is normal to me. This is normal.
Absolutely right. I mean, this is a great tweet as well. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before.
I love it.
Like you've just said there, everything you've just said, couldn't agree more. But I think there is a little element of great players find a way. So whatever system you play him in, he's a great player. He'll find a way. He'll find that, and he'll find those pockets of space. And he does, doesn't he? He drifts in and out. Very much like Kai Havertz. He looks fluid. If ever there was he's less a human being, more a gas. He kind of just he drifts. He drifts. You can't pin him down. He's around. He's always there, and he's always available for the ball. When you've got quality players like him in the squad, I suppose, like Sam said, the best thing you can do is just kind of give him that confidence and let him play.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you have someone as talented as Hakim Ziyech and you give him the ball, he will create chances, he will score goals, and it's about doing it, getting him in the best position to do so. So you're right. I guess once Reece James comes back, like he will probably be taking that touchline, but then there will be so much space for him to do that cut-in pass and things like that. Or you keep on going. Reece James has played at 4 at the back and also been very creative at 4 at the back. And I remember under Lampard, before Ziyech got injured, we were playing 4 at the back with Hakim Ziyech as a right winger, and it was working as well then. So there's definitely ways to fit both of them in, and at times it's just like all your quality players, you sort it out and let them do the work, and kind of go from there. But fair play to Thomas Tuchel, man. Like he made the call every single time he kind of makes a decision, it seems to work out.
That's a really good point actually, because when you're a goal down. When you're in search of a goal, the immediate players that jump off the page when you're looking at is Timo Werner, probably. You know, he's the only recognised centre forward on the pitch, or he's the only real attacking option that you've got on the bench. So when you make 3 changes, 2 are central midfielders and the other one's a left back, that's kind of not really an approach that many people take. But again, Thomas Tuchel sees things differently, and he's absolutely bang on, because Alonso plays the pass, Kovacic immediately getting on the ball, trying to make things happen, Ruben as well. It's that ability to read the game, and he always gets changes right. Yeah, always gets them right.
And I think it's a credit to him, obviously, because he's a world-class manager. But to make them all at the same time as well, that's trusting those type of players and knowing that they've got the experience to not allow the game to almost get on top of them. Because we've seen in games before where when a manager makes too many changes and it just ruins the feng shui in the squad, and it's like you made too many changes, and that's what we're talking about at the end of it. But you could tell Kovacic he brought the intensity as soon as he came into the game. Alonso, the balls that we were missing from out wide, where Sarr's not as naturally gifted in that area of his game, Alonso filled in that gap, and Loftus-Cheek, when he was getting on the ball, he was drawing in players, and you saw what he'd done straight away. And it's like, I feel like those players almost know they've got to pay back Tuchel for trusting them in that position, because like you said, any other manager, get the strikers on and we would think we would get a goal, but Tuchel thinks differently.
No, you're completely right, and that's why he's the greatest, isn't it? That's why he's the best manager in the business. Busy week coming up for the Blues this week as well. Started well, good result today. Tuesday, attention switches to the Champions League. Chelsea host Lille in the first of the knockout phase. Home, obviously, at Stamford Bridge. And Friday afternoon, we've got Thomas Tuchel's press conference ahead of the Carabao Cup final next Sunday afternoon at Wembley Stadium. And also, we've got something very cool coming up on against Blackpool at Stamford Bridge on Thursday from 6 p.m, the FA Youth Cup quarter-final live. Looking forward to that one. Boys, brilliant as always. Brilliant as always. In a stormy southwest London, the calmest man on the planet, Hakim Ziyech, tucks Chelsea in. Thank goodness for that. Chelsea win it 1-0. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.